Now you're very welcome back. As Europe's heat waves continue with temperatures as high as 45 degrees, Irish holidaymakers are being forced to consider cancelling their trips.
Love to know if you are considering cancelling your trip. And here to discuss the heat wave and our rights around cancelling a holiday, a travel journalist, Eoghan Corry. And Eoghan, I mean, when you're looking at these temperatures around Europe and families bringing small kids or maybe elderly relatives with them, it's a bit of a worry. Do you think we will see cancellations, and what are people's rights if you are going to cancel because of the weather?
Starting with the second question, you don't really have any rights. Discretionary cancellation doesn't even figure when it comes to either the two sets or what you're entitled to from the airline, what you're entitled to from travel insurance. It doesn't really fit into either of those. You can get into a situation where we're unable to travel and you get medical opinion and you get doctors, and you can then start that process with it. That'll be with the travel insurance company. What we aren't seeing cancellations. We're seeing a lot of queries, a little bit of worry. We are also seeing people looking to change the date, and particularly the formal travel industry, which is your old-fashioned travel agent and tour operator, where they've more control over flights. They've been quite cooperative with people, saying, "Okay, you can't go. Worried about the heat. We give you another date." So there's a bit of that going on this week, but very few cancellations.
And can you do that if you've booked through a travel agent?
The terms and conditions of your holidays are quite strongly against. You don't just decide not to go because the cat had kittens or something like that. So you don't really have an enormous amount of legal rights, but you have a cooperative travel agent who knows exactly what's going on out there. Remember, Greece is a little bit of a furnace at the moment, but Spain is where we go. We've 30 flights a week to Greece. We've 300 flights a week at this time of the year to Spain, and
300
and 100 to Portugal. Portugal is clear, by the way. If you take your Leaving Cert compass from your mathematics exam, take it back out of the school bag, and you do a little arc across Europe from Gibraltar
through down the way or up the way.
You put the middle of it in Cyprus, and you go from Gibraltar through the Alps. All outside of that is fine, which means Portugal is fine. Algarve is a trunk route for us.
And lots of
Galicia
people
is 25. Asturias, as Adam says, Murcia. Big problem. Inland Spain. What we saw in the previous heat waves in Spain, particularly Eastern Andalusia, gets very hot, and inland around the Ebro Valley, Cordoba, all of those places. The western around the seaboard, the Balearics, hasn't been hot. This is a little bit different. It's very hot in Mallorca at the moment. But the Spanish heat wave is going to peak. It's peaked yesterday, and it looks like by the end of the week it will be cleared off. So this could sort of sort itself out in that the intense heat moves on.
What about tourist attractions of the likes in Rome and Athens, whatever else? Are they still welcoming tourists?
The Acropolis very famously shut down. Now, the big issue is old museum piece things. They're not really built for queuing in the heat. The theme parks are better at it. The water parks are still open. Portaventura, Caribe, all of those. And they're good at managing the queues. Remember, it's small children and elderly people are the most vulnerable. Very good medical advice available, all about hydration, all about avoiding the sun. But also tune into the local medical advice, because there are local conditions and they're very, very good at updating all the regional
areas.